Welcome to the Luminary Journal podcast, a space where deep thoughts become clear paths and your inner light is gently called forward. I'm Sukhvinder Singh, your guide and fellow traveler. This podcast is for overthinkers, empaths, healers, and soul-led creators ready to release fear, reclaim their voice, and lead from their heart. You don't have to have it all figured out to begin. You just have to take the next step.
Welcome to the Luminary Journal podcast, where thoughts become clear paths. I'm your host, Sukhvinder Singh, the Luminary Coach, a mindset and transformation coach supporting deep feelers, overthinkers, and creatives to quiet the noise, reconnect with clarity, and take soul-aligned action. This podcast blends mindset, wisdom, reflective journaling, and spiritual insight to help you reframe fear, release old stories, and walk your own courageous path. Whether you're starting a business, navigating relationships, or seeking more peace and purpose, this space is here to support your unfolding. Today, I'm honored to welcome a guest and a friend whose presence beautifully embodies heart-led leadership and integrative healing, Isabelle Schelderup. Isabelle is a social worker with advanced training in acute and crisis response, but her path has woven through a much wider spectrum. She's also a certified yoga teacher, holistic therapist, Bach flower remedy practitioner and teacher, mindfulness educator, sound and vocal healer, and writer. She's worked extensively in both the public healthcare system and the world of complementary or alternative medicine, always advocating for integration between the two. Isabelle is the author of the book Lek Mein Yoga, or Play with Yoga for Children, and co-author another book that she will come back to in the interview. Today, Isabelle continues to guide clients and groups through a deeply intuitive, body-centered, and spiritually grounded approach to healing and empowerment. In our conversation, we explore the power of presence, the intersection of healing modalities, and what it means to walk a path that honors both inner wisdom and outer service. So take a deep breath, settle in, and join us for this heart-opening dialogue with Isabelle Schelderup. So, Isabelle, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Sukhvinder. I'm very honored to be here, and I'm touched by the purpose of this podcast to, assist people to find calm and ease in this world of ours, but also to listen to their hearts and inner leadership. And
Thank you for
unfolding
being here.
that.
So, Isabelle,
So
if
thank
we
you.
begin by grounding into this moment, what's alive in your heart today when you come onto this show?
Actually, it's joy. It is, I noticed while you were speaking that and welcoming that, it was joy
Wonderful.
that was most present. And
Because
yeah,
your joy and presence is what I am hoping we can give to the listeners today. So, could you share a story from your own life that deeply shaped your path into holistic healing and this integrative health that you are a proponent of?
one episode. It's been many. You know, my path started already when I were 5 with remembering a past life for the first time. And then a second one again when I were 8. And so that was kind of in itself a shaping, and also the extensive contact with the spiritual world that I had. But what perhaps guided me into that path. It was three things when I'm thinking about it, and you know, I'm thinking that some of our life surroundings and where we land and the people we meet already from we are children are something that we perhaps have chosen. And my mother, she was together with a very known kinesiologist and chiropractor in France when I were 8. And kinesiology at that time was not that known, neither was chiropractic. So that was kind of my first meeting with complementary medicine. So I guess that shaped me. My father was a doctor, so that was also kind of health oriented. But then later, he swapped that boyfriend with another boyfriend, which is one of Norway's most known acupuncturists for animals. So I followed him at his work when I were 11, out to different farms and things like that. And then it was another swap with a third man that was very formative for me because I really, really loved him. And he practiced kinesiology alongside conventional practice in schools. So I remember I were interviewed at this what do you call it? You know, this seohör. What is that kind of paper? What would you call that paper? Like
Yes.
not a normal news magazine, but you know, flashy news. So when I was 15, I were by different ways I were interviewed there, and I were asked, "What do you want to be in your future?" And I said, "I want to be a kinesiologist and a natural health practitioner." So it was kind of always there. Um, so I guess my answer will be that it was several different formative experiences also when I was 17 where I really had a hard time mentally, and I got extremely good and invaluable help from a holistic therapist. So that was my first encounter, not my first encounter, but that was my first really profound encounter with what holistic therapy and complementary medicine can do, and also especially
Yes,
the Bach
you're
flower
known for
remedies,
Bach flower remedies.
which since then have
I
been
also
lifelong
been a
friends.
student of yours for a level 1 first course. So, so now you mentioned that you have
Yeah, good.
walked both path of the public healthcare system and also the holistic healing world, the spiritual realm. I will say that.
Mm.
How has navigating these two realms influenced your approach to well-being when it comes to well-being?
The well-being. Well, I find that I have kind of intertwined them. And I do believe in intertwinement between the public health system and the complementary field. So I believe not in one and one, but that we together can support. So I guess that is what you're seeing in my life now. For example, every week I lead a therapeutic yoga group for people with post-traumatic stress disorder or depression or anxiety or burnt out syndrome, where I combined combined yoga, which is, I mean, many thousand-year-old system, with more up-to-date approaches, which I'm extensively trained in. So I fusion them, which I also did together with a psychology specialist a couple of years ago, when we led the government-supported mindfulness-based stress reduction program, where I co-led and I developed the yoga components and the reflection exercises together with the yoga. So yeah, I believe in supporting both views and not the polarization. We have too much polarization in the world. We have too much fragmentation. We need to come back to oneness and to see how can we support each other and make each other good instead of this is good, this is bad. I mean, it's like an old friend said to me always, one man's food is another man's poison. And I guess you can say that in other regards in life too, that we need different things to support our path as human beings in this
Thank you. We're
at
going to come
times
back to
pretty
the
troublesome and rough world of
worldview
ours.
and the leadership of the worldview a little bit later. So it's very good that you touch upon it, but we'll get back to that a little bit deeper. So, but how do you see the integrative health part evolving, especially when it comes to mental health work?
Well, what I find the recent years is that it's more and more people, also in the conventional field, that have opened their eyes for these old tools that yoga, for example, is, where mindfulness is a part of yoga. Now it's been advocated kind of or fronted as a separate part, but really it isn't. It's an integrative part of yoga and also of Buddhism especially. So, but the psychiatrists and the health practitioners that brought it to the West have kind of toned it down to make more people be able to swallow the pill. So mindfulness is kind of not dangerous. It has no part of yoga. It has no part of any religion, kind of. But at one hand, it's true. It isn't religion based anyhow, not in its roots either. As I see it, it's more an integrative part of many cultures and life views up among the years. But anyhow, it's been an awakening, and in many fields, and in other ones not so much. But it is definitely a movement that we can also see here in Norway. I think Norway in
Adopting.
general are pretty slow when it comes to integrating the more complementary techniques and thoughts. But it's definitely moving. And when I started out with yoga when I was 12, it was no one around me that I've heard about yoga. No one. I just stumbled upon a book, and no one had heard about meditation. So when I started my first meditation group when I were 17 or 18, then it was like, oh, what is that? But now it's on everyone's lips.
Good.
So
People are waking up
a lot of
to,
things have changed.
like, I would say
also.
people are now going back to the roots, to the nature, and trying to listen, getting more attuned to nature, but also themselves in a way. So that's what we are going to explore a little bit about, this recalibration of what on Earth, what's going on. And I've also seen here in Norway before, there were almost nothing like this here available before, but now people are more and more open to learning and listening to it. So I have a very good faith of the different. I think we can learn from each other, even we are from different cultures or have different belief systems. But the spiritual element is common. That's a common denominator in every tools and techniques. So let's get a little bit into the tools that you use. You speak of yoga, you do sound healing and Bach flower remedies. How do these modalities help people reconnect to themselves?
Well, they do it in different ways. So let's take sound healing first. Sound healing is using, I use my own voice, singing at people, for example. And then I can use my voice to scan to find a resonance with a problem area or an area where emotions feel stuck or whatever. But now I mainly hear it. I hear the sounds in the air. And I also see the chakras, which I've done since I were a youngster. Then I didn't understand what it was, really. Now I do, because I've really dived into the chakras and I've written a book based upon them too. But then I use the sounds that are coming. It's not necessarily pretty. Sometimes they are pretty, sometimes they are not. But I'm just going along with my intuition and making the vibrations or the sounds that come to me, moving along the body, as my intuition guides me to. After, of course, having an opening and a conversation with the client. But then it's using the vibrations, because like in physics now we know that everything vibrates. And what is vibrating? Yes, it's energy. So everything is made up of energy, and everything vibrates, but things vibrates in different ways. So sound, for example, which is audible for us, because not all sounds are audible for us. Sounds that are audible for us, that means that the vibration of the energy moves through a media, like for example air. That creates kind of the sound. But you have like light, that's also a vibration, but it moves so fast that it doesn't appear as a sound. Perhaps for other ears, otherwhere in the universe, it appears as sound. Who knows? But yeah, it's a very powerful tool to find the resonance that the body needs for different areas, and listening into what is stuck, what needs to be unblocked, what needs to be moved, but also helping the body to reconnect with its primal sound for that area, the healthy sound, kind of. But it could also be sound healing, where I help the people to make sound to their anxiety, for example, and to move through their anxiety with sound. It's different ways you can use it, or you can use it in a group. But anyhow, that's one way of working
No,
with it. Now I must admit I
you
forgot
are
your
on the you
initial
answered it
question.
beautifully, because how do these modalities help people to reconnect to themselves? You said sound is a way to like open clear the blockages so that they can get deeper into their beings, right?
Yeah, right. Thank you for clarifying that. And then if we move over to the batch flower remedies, which were made by Dr. Edward Bach in the 1930s, and are used by millions of peoples in, I think, over 80 countries or something in the world now. That is more like almost a homeopathic principle, but not homeopathy. It's also vibrations that you take blossoming plants or trees or flowers, and you place them in source water, and let them lay there for a while in the sun, or you boil them. It depends on the different type of flowers that are used. But that, in a way, captures the vibration into the water. And that has been tested also by with physics, and we also see that yeah, it's patterns that are created, changed in the water, in the molecules, really. So you kind of use the flowers healing purposes or healing possibilities, and you mainly you take it internally, but you can use it externally as well. But that kind of overflows you with the positive side of your problem areas, so to speak. And I think that is really one thing to underline here, because we human beings, we tend to think that, oh, fucking hell, I'm sorry, my language, but I'm such an impossible person. I'm so full of shame. I'm so full of this. I'm so full of that. Oh, I have so much hatred. I have so much jealousy, and I don't know how to deal with it. So we beat ourselves in the head with this frying pan all the time. But what really we are ending up with is just a really Donald Duck kind of bump in our head, and no moving forward from there. So what I think is so beautiful in the batch flower remedy theory is that by within every challenge we have, whether it's physical or mentally, it's a positive flip side to it. It's like, for example, if you're full of anxiety, you're moving towards courage. Or if you are full of sadness, you're moving towards um, understanding, holding, perhaps reconnecting with others in the sorrow. If you're full of hatred, you're moving towards love. So it's a very positive view on our problems, and that is really in itself very encouraging. So, and then to move over to yoga, which you mentioned also, again, that's a total different approach. Um, Although we can work with vibrations there too. Vibrations are, as I said, energy moving, and we have energy moving in our body all the time. So we are working with the energy just in different ways. But if we use like the physical exercises of yoga, because yoga is really a life, a way of life, more than just physical exercises. It consists of a whole palette of tools, really. But let's just stick to right now the physical exercises. Then it's like we know that the vagus nerve, which is called the wandering nerve, because it's really, really long, and it intertwines almost all the organs we have, and affect us really enormously. From the vagus nerve, it goes, I think it's around 80% of nerves moves from the body and up to the brain, and only between 20 and 30% from the brain and to the body. So when we work with such body-based tools, we are really affecting our brain a lot, and inviting calm and inviting balance into our life. And also you work a lot with pranayamas, which is breathing exercises, which is also it's kind of a bridge between the physical realm and our mental realm. It's really super fast way of working with our nervous system is breathing exercises. Just to mention two of yoga's tools.
Yes,
Yeah,
like
so different ways of
all
working with
teachers, all
ourselves,
coaches,
really.
all empaths, healers, they have their different tools of working with different parts and how to help the people to reconnect with themselves. So that was this, you describe your
Yeah,
tools very,
that's
very
right.
well. Um,
And that's the same with me. I have learned so many modalities, and it's like when you take up a portion of sands from the beach and you toss it up in the air, and you toss it up many times, and in the end you have just some grains left, right? So for me, it's some grains left that are the tools that. that I want to use the most.
Okay. So thank you so much for sharing your choice of tools that you use to reconnect the clients or coaches to themselves with your choice of tools. I believe you have many more tools at hand. One of the most common things that people come to us as coaches, as healers, as empaths or guides is fear. So, from your experiences, what are some compassionate ways to meet fear, whether it's situational or psychological?
Well, when you look at batch flower remedies, then you have some obvious choices for fear. For example, aspen, when made from the aspen tree. You can perhaps remember how the aspen tree is shivering in the wind and making noise. And also, interestingly enough, it's the roots of the tree. It goes really, really, really wide to the sides. And if you chop down a aspen tree, which I have done, three actually, because they took so much light here, then it pops up years and years and years after. It pops up new trees from those old roots. So it's like kind of a symbol of how difficult it at times can be to get a or to cool down our nervous system and to not let the anxiety take a stronghold on us. And aspen is then for a fear where you don't need really know the reason for the fear. It's just this unease feeling, but often it can also go back to the roots of your childhood with not the root chakra fundament psychologically wise is about developing trust, belonging, and safety. And if you haven't been provided with enough support in those formative first years, your nerve system can be in a constant state of alert. And then, of course, yeah, it's really you have to recalibrate your whole system. Kind of, you have to learn something that you didn't learn. So it can be a way to go, and that can be reflected in the aspen. Then you have, for example, rock rose, which is for more panic attacks, or where it's really a panicky setting where, for example, a loved one is really, really sick and you're fearing for their life. Or you have mimulus, which is for more, like you said, situational fear, going to the dentist or whatever, holding a speech at a wedding or doing a podcast. But then you have kind of like not so obvious remedies which you don't usually put in the category for fear, but which you could consider kind of, for example, honeysuckle, which is something that binds you to the past. Either that your past repeats, like in PTSD, but more often that you glorify the past, you're hanging on to the past, and perhaps it can be a symbol of not uh, uh, of fear of moving forward. So you're kind of stuck with what was more than daring to open up for all the new. So I mean, you have many remedies where you can consider it in case of fear, but that's just one tool. And what I find is that the remedies are very interesting because it's not like they are advocating everything.
It's my dog
Yeah,
at the back.
maybe
Ju-
he just supports what I'm saying. He's just underlining it. But uh, the remedies are interesting in the way that they are like I said earlier, they are bringing up the positive
Mm.
flip side in us. I don't know if you can say flip side in English, but anyhow, that's the word I know. So it can really assist you with getting the tools from within that you already have. Because I believe that we already have everything we need for whatever it is. We just have to kind of reconnect with it and realign with it. So, yeah, in that way, it's all the different approaches assist us in different manners. Again, I'm talking
It's
myself
okay.
away from the
It's
question
what
and
needs to
forgetting
be
what the
led to.
question
It's
was. So you just
what the
have to
question
put
I
me on.
mean to lead to. So don't worry about that. It was it was actually question was compassionate ways to meet fear, and you shared that remedies are very compassionate ways to meet the fear, right? Uh,
And when you say that, I want to bring up one more thing, which is not so many people, if they are not Buddhist, that use, but it's the most powerful tool I've ever encountered to work with
Tonglen.
really heavy emotions or heavy situations, and that is the Tonglen meditation, where you really, yeah, where you really address what you're feeling or fearing or being stuck into, but in a very compassionate way. But you're also doing it because, like I said, we are beating ourselves up in the head with a frying pan a lot. But uh, what I think is a lot of the remedy for that is to not look so much at ourselves, but to see that what I feel, what I experience is a common human experience. Because we kind of tend to like close off and feel separated and alone, and especially with anxiety, right? We close off and we hide and we protect. But if we manage to broaden our mind and our heart to see that, okay, I'm not the only one that has these feelings. I'm not the only one that have suffered in this way. I'm not the only one that are feeling what I'm feeling. I'm not alone, really. And that is, of course, it's a shame that others are feeling it on one hand, but on the other hand, it is also healing to know that it's not only you, and that you can put that into the modalities you use to help yourself. What is exactly what you do in the Tonglen meditation, where you, for example, with anxiety, you could sit down and you can breathe in the anxiety and really breathe it in, really feel it like this heavy, clogged, black energy, perhaps. And then you breathe out what you want for yourself in that situation. You want more openness, you want to be able to breathe deeper, you want more calm, and you move back and forth into this two different black white kind of feelings. But then you take in the rest of the world. So you start slow. You, for example, you take in everyone in the proximity of you that also can feel anxiety, and you breathe them in. You breathe them into your heart. You breathe them into your being, and you breathe out what you want for them. And then maybe perhaps in the end you can breathe in the whole world and what you want for them. So it's a way of not digging our own grave all the time and sitting down there in that black hole, but crawling up and reconnect and use what we are experiencing and use what we are feeling and learning to the benefit not only for us but for all beings, because we can learn from this. These black holes, and we can be lights in this world for others. Not perhaps that we have to physically take clients or whatever, but just by that mentality change, we are vibrating our energy, which we know everything is consisting of and everything is vibrating. We start to vibrate differently. And that vibration goes out to the vibrational field that we are all a part of. That, for example, the string theory in physics talk about. So yeah, that was one perspective of being compassionate
Nice,
with
very,
yourself and
very
using
well put.
compassionate tools
Thank you.
when it comes to fear.
Let's now get into something that I really want to see a change of, and that is leadership. Leadership, courage, and doing inner work for the leaders who have the power to change the world. So, in your regard, in your view, what does heart-led leadership look like for you in daily life? Not just on the mat in session, for example, but in tough conversations, decisions, or boundaries. Advice for
As an advice for
leaders in the
leaders or
world, I
as
would
an
say,
advice for your own
what is the
leader?
change or what is the message to them?
That message would be what I just said, change the perspective from what serves me or what serves a small group of people, but what serves us all. So going from moving away from the power in a way and the status and the ego-oriented self to how can I be of service in this world? How can I use this position to assist and to benefit as many as possible in as generous and compassionate way as possible. So it's about moving from the head to the heart, really.
It is absolutely. What
But that's a big topic.
the reason I'm asking, then the reason I'm starting to talk about this is because the heart-led, the empaths, the people who would like to blossom, they would create workers who blossom, they blossom themselves, they make their leaders blossom. Those kind of people are, their voice is quenched in the workplace. Those voices, they are not allowed to speak up because they don't fit into the mold of productivity to create shareholder values. Of course, this is a very big topic, but we need to talk about this because there are systems in place that maybe were very beneficial 100, 200 years ago, but now the new children who are get born, and they are born with some completely different blueprint that doesn't fit the mold of today's world. So what I'm asking is to everyone, what I want to is to all the light workers to try to project the new model that should be for the world. And because these new children with the new blueprint doesn't fill the boat, for them it's very hard to exist in the world, and they experience burnout. So in your work, what inner practices have sustained you through times of doubt or burnout if you were to lead the world?
If I were to lead the world, whew, well, I think
Yeah.
I will go with the first part of your question first. Uh, how I have maneuvered or dealt with periods of doubts or burnt out in my own life. And that is, for example, that Tonglen meditation. to change, to try to always change the perspective. Not, it's not about myself. I'm not very interesting. I'm just a tiny part of the whole puzzle, but I am a part, and which every one of us are. So so that's, if you use the puzzle as a symbol, then you are like, if you, when you put the whole puzzle of 10,000 pieces, and then it's five missing, you just don't get the whole picture, right? So all of us are those pieces of the puzzle, and we are needed. But on the other side, we are, well, what I mean is that when I have trouble sometimes, and I do, of course, all of us do, then I really try to remind myself that although I'm little, I'm also a part of it all, and whatever I change within will affect everything. It's not an egoistic thought. It's a thought of hope, really. That's whatever I change and alter in myself will have an effect. It's not for just my own blue eyes. That makes it easier to maneuver the darkness, kind of. And that I really try to dedicate my work to the benefit of all, wherever they are in the universe. That please, may this, may my fears and my moving through darkness prevent others from having to do the same, or may me moving through the darkness help others, so that I can help others via that movement. For example, with hopefully ending up with a little bit more wisdom to share with the world, or yeah, that's my perspective. I just try to how can I be of service, more of more than how can others or whatever serve me. That is what I think is of most help for myself, and what I would think would be of most help also for leaders. To just, yeah, it's about changing the perspective, putting on different glasses, looking through the
Beautiful.
other lenses on the
Now,
world
I would like to
and
get
on
into the more
problems.
spiritual part
Yeah.
of yourself, because we've been friends since 2014, 15. I've been invited to you, home to you, your beautiful home with your exceptionally good friend, Christian, your husband, and you have held containers for us and more, where I have allowed to open myself up, and others have come and opened themselves up. So, how do you personally nourish your connection to the spiritual realm, and what that how does that feel grounded, and how do you embody it?
Uh, well, many layers in that question. Well, what I do almost every morning, I do breathing exercises, pranayamas, and I use the breathing exercises to find my center, to nourish my calming nerve system, and thereby calming my mind. And I feel it's really happened a really huge shift in me this spring, where, yeah, it's a lot more difficult to rock my boat now. It is just a lot calmer within, and a lot lighter and brighter. Of course, it was something particularly that happened or opened up. But anyhow, I do that. I do from sometimes just half an hour, but up to 1.5 hours with pranayamas, and then into meditation. And then I have a place where I go within, like in Well, it is a place. It is a vibration. It's a dimension. It's in Mount Kailash, where those of you that are Buddhists or Jainists or Hindus or burn practitioners, you would know
In your
about Mount Kailash.
meditations?
But that's where I end up always, and I work with them. Yeah, in my meditation. So I start with the pranayamas, the breathing exercises, and then I move from the last breathing exercise, which always is the pranayama. I end up in meditation after that. But the pranayamas I use also very decisive in a way. I breathe in the prana, the pure light, and I breathe it into all the chakras. And not only the seven most familiar ones, but also the one behind the navel and the one 4 finger widths underneath the navel. So I place the within them and balance them, and then I sing the into the whole nervous system. So I can see the kind of prana move into all the different nerves and going out to all the organs and everywhere in my body. And then I do the same with the Shushumna, the main energy channel. And I see that it spread through all the nadis, which we call them in yoga, the energy vessels in our body or energy system. And also through all the acupuncture meridians. And then I do the same with the spleen and the lymphatic system. And then I do the same with the heart and the blood system. And then I sing to calm or to unite my body, mind, and soul. And then I move into the meditation. So it's kind of a set of practice that I've put together. So that's what I do every day, but or mostly every day. Uh, for one thing, and then I do find a lot of healing in giving others healing. For example, in the this evening I'm having the therapeutic yoga group. I love that. I love being with them. I love creating the environment for them. I love being here with you to tap into my soul or my inner being, trying to communicate that. So I believe in that when we allow ourselves to be who we are also kind of allowing others to be who they are. We are each other's mirrors. So I hope that, I just hope that whatever we're doing here will assist.
I would like to explore more of the spiritual connections that you have experienced. You have had some meditations that led you to meet with Dalai Lama, right? Yep. And could you speak a little more about the spiritual
Yeah,
realms
yeah.
that you have had some connections to and your experience? Because I think this platform is ready for you to like bring that out.
Okay, I can talk a little bit about it. You mentioned Dalai Lama. It's not only him that I've gotten contact with in meditations or in dreams. A lot of information also comes in dreams for me. But to take him, the first time he came to me were in a early morning meditation in a yoga education in Bali in 2018. And we were meditating on a total different topic, nothing to do about Dalai Lama. But then suddenly he steps in front of me, like almost as physical as you are for me now. So it's up to then it was the most physical appearance of a being that I've ever encountered. And he told me some things, among others, that I should come to him in Dharamsala as fast as possible. And I answered him that yes, I would love to. but I don't have the money right now. So we had a house abroad that we had renovated and put a lot of money in to try to sell and earn a little bit on it as a way of living. And that had been for sale for five
Debt.
years, and we had an extensive amount of bank loan on that. So I said, told him that if you then we would need to help. Then we would need to sell that house first, and then, as I said, it had been for sale for 5 years, but then 3 days later it was sold. It just happened, and then of course I went. And that was the first time he called me. And then the other time he called me, he actually called my daughter, my youngest daughter, and he called her by a Tibetan name, Tibetan word that I had never heard. I don't know any Tibetan words. So, but luckily I have now I have two actually that are specialized in Buddhism, professors as friends. But one of them, which I knew then, I contacted him and I said, well, I've had this. That was in a dream. I had this dream, and Dalai Lama came and he gave this name to my daughter. I don't know what it is. I cannot find out when I'm Googling it. And he immediately knew what it was and explained me. And we're very, very excited about it. And later I found out that it's that word is quite a normal name in Tibet, symbolizing specific things of a human being. So then we went this autumn. Me and her went with a group from Karmatashiling, the Tibetan Buddhist Center in Oslo, and we met him again. And he's also written the foreword of of the book that were published this year, Keys to a Better Life, a yoga for young people, but also for adults. So yes, Dalai Lama has had important. He is important for me,
So you have physically met him.
and he is for many, many others. So that is one. Yes, I physically met him, and that's things like that have happened several times with other spiritual teachers. That I even at times that I didn't know the name of. For example, the time I were called to the Hopi reservation, I started to have contact with a Hopi elder in meditation. He came and he came and he came again and back again, so many times, and told me to come. Among one other, down in close to the Hopi reservation in the States. So, but just to take the Hopi Indian. So I went, and I went on the day that he told me to be there. And I had no idea who he was, how he looked, because he kind of had his appearance in the meditation. And I didn't know how to find him. And I drew along this. I had never been to the Hopi reservation. I had never been to the States before. And I were driving along alone. And coming into the Hopi reservation where it supposedly was, but it was like just really, really flat and just some houses here, some houses there. And I didn't know that it was kind of small, tiny, tiny villages hid behind different places. So I didn't know where to go or how to find him. So I just decided okay, I'll stop my car here. So I stopped my car here and I went out, and it was kind of like this, like you can see in Western films where everything is flat, is a barrel, and it was this dead dog laying there. I had a swollen up, and it had been laying there for days, It was like a strange atmosphere. And I was like, what shall I do? Who shall I talk to? It was no one to see. But suddenly it comes one woman out of one of those 3, 4 houses that were just there, and this elder woman, and then it turns out she's the wife of the Hopi elder that have called me. So I met him immediately. So that are part of my life, and that's while why I accept your invitation to share it is because I hope it can uh, make others that are listening trust their guiding. Of course, sometimes you get guiding that are not really easy to defer. Is it this the spiritual world talking, or is it my wishes? Or is it my delusions, right? So it's a constant navigation and discerning process you have to be in, and you have to be very grounded. And although I fly really, really high, I'm very, very grounded. I really think it's important to support your own grounding, and one of the best ways of doing that is loving being here and loving your life for whatever it is. And that is a lot of the mindfulness process, to be mindful of what is and learning to, if you don't love it, then learn at least to accept it with a kind of friendship, and to become your own best friend, and to be best friends with your own life. That's my best advice in that regard. So, and since I've been in the spiritual world, to put it like that, for since I was 13, I went on my first course. I've met so many ungrounded people in the spiritual society, which like kind of not care so much if they get money or don't get money, or if they have a house or don't have a house, or for me that's unrooted and possibly ungrounding. So I will strongly support you. No, no, not support, but suggest that you take care of your grounding first. Take care of yourself. Take care of your basic needs, because if you have really deep roots in the world, your crown can grow so much higher. It's just like with a tree. The deeper the roots, the bigger the crown. So yeah, that's my but that's my hope. That's that it can remind you of listening to your inner guiding, and that's, and also honoring that sometimes it comes in so different ways when you're and sometimes we need help, we need the things that are coming to us. And what comes pops into my mind right now is many years ago, I mean, like at least 25 years ago, I had a terrible life situation, and I were like, I were moving through Oslo Centrum, and I were like, it will never end well, it will never end well, it will never end well. It was the repetitive pattern in my mind, and I really were so not at ease and scared and everything. And then I went off the tram just in the middle of the Oslo city, and you know, this heroin users, they can sometimes have this like slack in their knees, and they're like, you can see they are heroin users. So one of them just came up to me, he took my arm and he looked me straight into the eyes, and he said, "It will all end well." And then he just turned away and walked. So for me, it was a lot of profound learning in that, which I've also had in other profound moments. That never ever underestimate anyone. The Buddha nature, or the light, whatever you call it, or the love, is within all of us. We are born with it. We just need to reconnect with it. And that man, he learned me that never ever underestimate anyone, and always look at the light in every being. But also, on the other hand, I am aware, since I'm working with energies, that using a lot of substances, drugs, are creating holes in your aura, which on one way can make energies that are not so good attached to you, but it's also kind of easier sometimes for the love energy or the light also to move in and use them in that sense. For example, like it happened with me.
Yes.
They are kind of easy to access in a way, if you understand what I mean. It's not negatively meant, but it's also an encouragement to people not to go into drug abuse. Neither if it's marijuana or hashish, nothing. Just stay away from it. Yeah, because it really damages us and brings us away from the light within, and that's also important to find out what brings you closer to the light and what
That was the
brings you
kind of
away from the
message I
light.
was hoping
Bring you
for
away from the light.
you gave,
Yeah.
because that is about opening up and start, especially the empaths, the healers, the coaches who do not, who have not opened them up themselves for receiving these kind of gifts, and are not feeling the worth. They know they are meant to be healers, coaches, empaths, but they are just having a difficult time coming up. So this is a message to them. Trust the intuition. Trust the intuition if you're grounded and you know it resonates with you. So thank you so much for this beautiful message for the listeners. I appreciate that, Isabelle. So let's get a little bit about creativity part of you, the books and the projects that you are doing. Would you like to talk a little bit about them?
Well, let's take the books because well, that was also a kind of a guiding many years ago. Perhaps you were even there in one of the meditation groups many years ago, where I saw that I would work with a lot of small children. And since I have 4 children myself, well, at that time I had 3, I thought that I don't really want to do that. I think I've had enough children to take care of, so I didn't really understand what I saw. And then I got my 4th child, which I also met many years ago, so I knew she would come one day. Anyhow, uh, what that brought me to have her, Gloria, is that I created a family children garden, so I could be with her, and of course the other children that were here. So I wouldn't miss out on too many years of her being in another children garden. Uh, so that was a change in my worldview because when I had my first 3 children, I had 3 when I were already 23 years old, and then I were in a space within myself where I wanted to explore, I wanted to unfold, I wanted to do this and that. So I were like on a more egoistic, ego-based trip. But when I got her, I were older, and it was valuable for me to be with her. I understood that more. I were more, yeah, I had come more in contact with my inner being. So I created that children garden, and then of course when I created that, I had wanted to do it as well as possible. So we had weekly mindfulness and yoga and massage sessions, both inside and outside. So and that experience, those years, brought me to create my first yoga book for children, which is called Playing with Yoga, Lek med Yoga in Norwegian. And it's based upon the 4 seasons in the year. And it's made for children from 3 to 13 and the adults working with them. But it's made so simple that the child themselves can go and pick up the book and look at the pictures and do the exercises. So that was also one of the meanings with it, that it should be very simple, but it's also made so it can be fit into the children garden or schools yearly plans where they follow the seasons also a lot. And it shows how you can do the exercises outdoors or indoors or whatever you want. But one of the reasons also for putting it into the seasons is to remind ourselves that we are nature. We really are nature, and we constantly try to move away from it. We constantly, when we wake up and it is a thunderful day within ourselves, or it is a really heavy rain, or it is snowy and we feel cold and the life is difficult, we kind of want to push away from that and push away from the natural fact that that's just how it is outside also, and not to be so scared of it all, and not to try to, because I think that a lot of the suffering we are experiencing is because we want to, is the ways we try to move away from the suffering we are experiencing. So we move away from it in so many ways. We try to escape it, and that those ways of escaping it create suffering either for ourselves or for others. Instead of learning more with, okay, so it's that the weather today. I'll go with it. I'll get dressed and put on the clothes that are suitable. So that also means that symbolically, what do you need to meet such a day within yourself? And one thing, then the main thing is just to accept it, and accept it with a kind of curiosity and friendliness. That, okay, what can I learn from this day and from this state? But also, I've renamed several of the poses to match what is happening in the different four seasons. Also, as a way of reminding the children and the adults, hopefully, that we have all these different capacities in us. We already have them. So when we are embodying a 3-in-3 pose, for example, in yoga, we also have the qualities within us that are in a tree. We also can be flexible. We also can be bendable enough to not break under a storm. We also can have deep enough roots to still stand there the next day after the storm. Or if we are a dolphin, we also have the playfulness. Or if we are the snake, we also have the possibility to shed our skin and grow. So for me, that's very important in yoga in general, but also in the way I rename many of the poses. So then the second book is, like I said, it's has a pre-word or foreword by His Holiness the Dalai Lama. And it's in Norwegian, it's called Nøkler til et bedre liv, Yoga for unge, but in English it will be called Keys to a Better Life, Yoga for Young People. And we are currently looking for publishers abroad to publish it. So we have an agency that are working with that as well. But if any publishers are listening, feel free to contact me. We have, I have designed the whole book. And I have asked Professor in psychology Ingunn Hagen here in Norway to co-write with me, which she has done beautifully, and also sharing then all the research on the field, how yoga can support young people and people in general. But she's also done research on yoga and young people and mental health. And then we've also are so lucky that Anodea Judith, the world-known chakra yoga expert, she's the first after Jung, really, that has combined yoga's chakra philosophy system with psychology and really done it in depth. And she's published 12 plus books that have sold in millions of copies and are translated to 29 languages. So she's really a capacity. And we have based, the whole book is based on, upon the 7 exercise chapters of the book. It's many more chapters, of course, are based upon the chakra system combined with psychology. So, for example, like I said, the root in us is safety, belonging, trust. So then in that exercise chapter, all the exercises are made to support the development of those psychological steps or capacities within ourselves, or to heal it if we haven't developed it well. So there I've renamed most of the poses to then what they are supposed to support. So for example, what is often known as or mainly known as child pose, I've called then I can find safety. So so we are following all the different psychological steps that we are going through in our lives, and also the identity development, and then yeah, all of those exercises are to support that. And it's also an own one of the chapters is also about reflections, where I created a lot of reflections for the young people or adults that are using it to really be more conscious about who do I want to be in this world? Who am I? How can I support good choices in my life and things like that? So it's really if I dare to say so myself, and I do dare it. So I'm looking forward to for it to come out in the world, and I've made it, or we have made it, for one reason and one reason only. It's not for our blue eyes' sake. It's that it can be of assistance to help as many people as possible to get more aligned with their inner being, develop the heart capacities, empathy, compassion, caring for each other, caring for the world, caring for ourselves, which are really what needs to grow in this world. Not only all the brain capacities. We are being fed enough with that in our school system and in life.
Great. I think you
So yeah.
the explanation of this book and what do you want the message to the world to be, especially for the younger generation. That's very important because they are tomorrow's leaders. So starting to do inner work already from a young age, I think that would be very beneficial for the future generations. So thank you for doing this tremendous important work, Isabelle.
Yes.
Okay, we are nearing the end now, Isabella, and it's been a wonderful session. But one question I would like to ask you before I leave you is a flower essence you would give the world right now, and why?
Well, that was a spontaneous question, and I will give a spontaneous answer. It must be holy. Holy is in Norwegian is Kristol. It's the essence for hatred and the essence for polarization, where we divide the world into friends, not friends. You are good, you are bad. We have too much polarization. We have too much fragmentation. We have too much of jumpiness. Oh, you are not respecting me, this and that. So, holy is holy in a way. It's opens up our hearts and brings us away from
Thank you. I
hatred and into
totally
love.
agree with you.
So
This is what is
that would
happening
be
in
my answer.
politics, in news, but also among communities. So I think we need the flower essence wholly, everyone. So thank you so much for being here, Isabel. I appreciate your this wonderful input,
Yeah.
and the listeners are going to benefit a lot of your wisdom and spiritual work and your advice. And if they want to follow you or read more about you, where can they get in touch with you? And we will, of course, have all the details in the description. But in your own words, how can they reach you easiest?
Well, right now I'm getting on Substack myself, which the spiritual world actually have told me to do. Then I hadn't even heard about Substack. So I'm going there now. I'm making this first post this week, which is about actually the root chakra. So follow me there, Isabelle Schelderup, or in general, if you search keys to a better life, you will find me on Instagram. I'm pretty new there too, but I'm getting there. And then other platforms are heartlight.one. So Heartlight.one is my webpage, but also you find Heartlight.one on Facebook. It's a group there, closed group. So that's the easiest
I'll
way.
be sure
Or
we'll
send me a mail on Isabelle
put that in the description,
Heartlight.one.
all of these ways to get in touch with you. So thank you so much, Isabelle. It's been a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you for
Thank you.
inviting, and I wish all of you the best life possible.
Thank you for sharing this space with me. If this episode stirred something in you, take a moment to reflect or journal on it. You can continue this journey at the Luminary Coach Substack or explore coaching at paperbell.me/luminarycoach. Remember, you don't have to rush or be perfect. Stay connected to your truth, one step at a time. Keep tending to your light. The world needs it. And now the legal stuff. The Luminary Journal podcast is for educational and inspirational purposes only. This podcast does not offer medical, psychological, or financial advice and is not a substitute for professional support. I speak from personal experience and share tools that have supported me and my clients on the path of healing, growth, and soul LED leadership. Always trust your own wisdom and seek appropriate professional care when needed. Remember, you are the expert of your own journey.